Alrighty, folks, it is June the 23rd. Listen to what I just said. It's a big 6-2-3. Folks, we're already 50% of the way, about 60% of the way to deer season. It is June 23rd. It's Thursday night. It is 7 o'clock Central Time. It is welcome to Hunting the Rut Hotline with Don Bell and Steve Burklow. And Big Steve, I know some of you girls out there think, my Lord, is those two chairs ever filled together? And the answer is yes. Folks, you would not think that two people could stay this busy selling deer urine, but folks, we are about it. We're at shows. We're doing everything our little fannies can do to get you something on the shelf for you to be able to buy all over the country. You'll be able to find Top Secret and Scent Defense and BioShield and Fog Zero, all of our products all over the country. All your national accounts have it, folks. Shop early, buy early. Top Secret is in a vertical climb. It's like a shuttle blasting off. Get on it. If you don't, you're going to get to stand there and look at it go up instead of get to ride to the moon. It is June 23rd. We're going to talk about some stuff. Hey, you're already out there looking for deer. Stay tuned. Be right back. We're going to kick this bad boy off.
You don't like old milk. Deer don't like old urine. Brown and cloudy urine reeks of ammonia. Ammoniated urine means it's old, not fresh, and it doesn't fool deer. Top Secret Deer Scents, the only scent on the market that's oxygen-free from collection to bottle. It's yellow and clear because it's fresh. It's the only scent on the market that says a deer is here now and not last week.
All right, folks, seriously, listen, June 23rd is crazy. 1 week. Going to be almost at the 4th, and everybody knows what happens after the 4th of July. Hey, all you fishermen, I know you like it. You're fishing, and you're going to fish after the 4th, but I can tell you 14 million deer hunters is going to be turning toward September, October to be able to get up in that tree. Now, we've been preparing for this all year. It's amazing, you think, well, how in the world can you do a show 52 weeks a year talking about hunting the rut? Well, you need to understand the rut before you get to it. And that's what this show's about. These deer just didn't fall off the moon on your piece of property come hunting season, first day of hunting season, and bang, there they are. Those deer were born, they fed, they've lived, they've traveled, they've interacted with predator, they've interacted with people. Hey, they've interacted with you when you didn't even know it. And so their movement patterns all based off what's going on. And then that starts to change as toward the fall. And look, folks, I was telling somebody the other day, these old squirrels, man, I got a squirrel outside on my place. That sucker looks like a chipmunk. He's so big. He's taking prepping to the next, Tom, he's taking it to the next level. That's that sucker. He's big, he just wallows. What's he doing? He's preparing. He's getting, man, that dude, he's going to eat this fall, this winter. Well, he's preparing. Well, hunters, you have to prepare. And the key to that is the time to prepare is before you go. I think I said this one time on here, it's the 6 P's. Do you guys remember what the 6 P's are? No. Proper preparation prevents piss poor performance. And if you want to prepare and be able to hunt that piece of property, folks, you just need to know it. You need to understand the whitetail, and when he does this, it does that. And that's what the show's all about. And so seriously, we're making a transition here. We're not just saying, hey, it's June 23rd. There's really a transition that takes place in the psyche of the deer inadvertently because of the psyche of us hunters. And let me give you an example of that. And guys, don't let me go over this open remark because I'll come back to it. But guys, think about this. I was telling some lady today at an insurance place, she's talking about deer hunters. Well, there's 14 million deer hunters. Put it in perspective, you've heard us say here before, we're the largest standing army in the world, 1,000,006 under arms worldwide, 8.5 times more deer hunters than armed forces. More deer hunters than the top 18 industrialized armies of the world. I say that to say, come after the 4th of July, you know it. What you going to see up and down the highway? You're going to start seeing them pickup trucks pulling them tractors. Already seeing some of them. And where are they going? They're going to the woods. And what are they going to be doing at the camp? You're getting everything starting to ready for the camp. You're thinking about it. Your psyche's changing. But you're putting that tractor on the road. You're going to put it in those woods. And you're going to start looking at trimming trees and doing and planting food plots. You're getting excited. You're getting in there. Well, activity is pressure. Pressure reacts to deer. Deer react to pressure. All animals will react to pressure. And so that activity tweaks them some, depending on where your piece of property is and how much activity you may be in and out of that piece of property all year long, which is a great thing to do. You know, activity during summer is not a bad thing. They're used to that then, and they're not causing too much transition between it. But all of a sudden, there's a lot of activity on that piece of property. They're going to pay attention to it. And then as they start coming into the cycle of coming into pre-rut, you know, losing velvet, getting ready to come in, then that starts playing in. So there's a lot of things kicks in after the 4th of July. It ain't just about fireworks. A lot of bang-bangs going on where you hunt. Hey, and that's what this show's about, and that's what it's going to be about tonight. So, folks, keep it in mind. It's coming. Also want to remind you, tonight we're giving away a bottle of Reserve for the callers that calls in, gets to get in on us. That's how you know what that is. That's $30 value. It's 3 ounce of, this is Privilege Reserve. 2-3-year-old doe, never seen oxygen, pulled the old boy off of her. This is top-notch stuff right here, and somebody's going to get them a bottle because they get to call in tonight. Now, having said that, last week we gave away a deer bladder, and old Adam Seebecker from Manston, did I say that right? Manston, close enough. Wisconsin was the winner, and he's probably already got his stuff. It went out the next day. So we announced that last week. I guess it was Friday on Facebook. And whoever wins this tonight, we're going to place that on Facebook tomorrow. Folks, you'll start seeing more activity as we turn this corner, especially once we get over into July. And time you get into mid-July, it's on. I mean, you know, everybody's attention starts turning toward the fall, starts turning to preparation, and a lot of you's already been working on that piece of property, and you need to, and now's the time to get in there as you're doing those plots to really pay attention to what's going on your property. Now, of course, the ideal thing is to start scouting is right after season. All of you guys in the Midwest and the Northeast that could scout, and you know, for antlers and stuff, not so much down here because you're liable to find a rattlesnake instead of a set of antlers. And but up north, big deal. Great time. You can scout and kind of see which bucks made it and which ones didn't. So, but now you're in there. These bucks are growing antlers, man. They're growing an inch a day. An inch a day. So there's going to be some big bucks on the property, big bucks being killed this year, and you want to be part of that, and that's what this show's going to be about. Let's see. All right, we got us a caller coming in. Let's see what we got. Hey, let's see who won a bottle, first bottle of Privilege right there. He did win it, didn't he? Okay. All righty, you got Don Bell. Who we talking to?
This is Matt Stavanis.
Matt Stavanis?
Yeah, yep.
What part of Indiana are you from?
I'm actually from Pennsylvania.
Well, you're not even anywhere near it then, are you?
No, I'm not.
That's what happens when you look at two screens, Matt, and I'm looking at something else. All right. Born and reared in Pennsylvania?
We're in Davidsville. We're about an hour east of Pittsburgh.
I mean, were you born there?
Oh, yeah. Yep, I've lived here all my life, 29 years.
All right. Well, I ain't got to tell you. You know you got more deer hunters up there.
Oh, believe me, I know. I see them out there the first day. You know, it's like a holiday up here on the first day of rifle season.
Oh, yeah. It's nothing but a pumpkin patch, isn't it?
That's it.
I mean, nobody's ever hunted Pennsylvania cannot appreciate what we just said. I've told this story before. Matt, years ago we were filming up there, and like an idiot, we filmed the opening day of gun season. Now, you know how stupid that was?
Yeah,
we shot a deer down. We shot it, of course, honest, just bumper to bumper, and you got daylight. Now, we're filming. You got daylight, all you could see other orange caps out in the woods. Yeah. We shoot this deer down, and a guy starts dragging the deer off. We're filming. Hey, we're filming.
Oh,
he never checked up. We just kept filming him. He was dragging that deer off. But you're blessed in a lot of ways. Now, do you ever go down in Ohio?
Yes, I'm actually, it's funny you say that. I actually just booked I'm going to Zanesville, Ohio to hunt this fall, this November. But that'll be my first trip out of state.
Well, a lot of the reason I asked that, if a lot of Pennsylvanians don't know you go to Ohio, I guarantee you there's a lot of Ohioans that knows Pennsylvanians come to Ohio because I mean, you know, I mean, people don't realize, people listening, and you know, Matt, you grew up there. You know, the average deer is what, year and a half, 2 years old that's killed. You just got so many, you just got so many hunters, they just don't get a chance to, you know, to get big. Now, certain counties, Allegheny County, you know, which is in the northeast there, over by Allegheny, oddly enough, Allegheny County, New York. There's some good deer over there. But there's some good deer on, you know, if you're hunting certain regions and private property, there's some good deer in Pennsylvania.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But you can't go wrong by hunting Ohio. You hunting the northern part or what part of the state?
I believe our outfitter is kind of located in the central part of the state, you know, southern. It's
what county?
Around Zanesville.
Do you know what county? It's in Hocking County?
I believe we're going to be in Licking County.
Well, that's next to Hocking, isn't it?
You know, I'm not sure.
Oh, that is, anytime you get south and just immediately south and kind of east and west and due south of Columbus, you're in some good deer.
That's what I hear.
Good deer and turkey and hog, believe it or not.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's surprising.
Yeah, but I mean, one of the biggest deer we ever killed on film was in Hocking County, Ohio. I mean, he was mad. Yeah, dude, he was mad. I mean, he if you'd have been on the ground, he'd have hurt you. We had put buck urine out on a scrape, and dude, he come in. He was, and I don't say this to be cute. No, he was pissed. I mean, his eyes was bugged. He was stiff-legged. His tail was tucked. He was urinating down both legs, and he was just stiff. If you ever seen a deer when it's real cold, kind of punch through snow, ice, he's just stiff-legged. I mean, he looked like you ever seen a fainting goat?
I have, yeah.
You know, just when they tighten up before they fall, that's what he looked like.
Straight leg.
Dude, he was mad. Well, look, we're glad to have you on tonight. What kind of question you got?
Yeah, I was actually just wondering, I'm sure you get to when to use this scent and that scent, but aside from actually seeing, you know, the bucks chasing does or tending does, things like that, is there anything ahead of that you watch for, you know, that a buck might change up his, you know, what he's doing every day, you know, leading up that, you know, is there one thing or a group of things that you see that say, hey, okay, yeah, they're getting ready to start chasing, you know, and you know, maybe switch your scent, you know, to an estrus scent or, you know, dominant buck scent or anything like that? Well,
yeah, I mean, it's a good question, and it's I want to say it right, it's a relevant question both to region and really to where you're hunting. Let me give you an example of what I'm saying. Historically, Pennsylvania, you know, Halloween to November the 15th, peak of the rut. You're using estrus, but the key to this thing is it doesn't just all of a sudden, they just don't wake up one morning and it's on. It's, you know, when the fall comes in, the first cool air comes in, you wake up, you think about it, you know, and oh, this is nice, and then you short sleeves and you wake up, it's a little cooler, and it just gradually, next thing you know, you're putting on a long sleeve shirt. And you know it's time to keep wearing that long sleeve shirt. Well, it's sort of like that with a buck on a doe. All the does don't come in at one time. And your question, and one of the things we stress on this show is that the peak of the rut is just that. It's the peak of the rut. And, you know, you have pre, peak, post-rut. And, Matt, that's phenomenally important because do you bow hunt or gun hunt only?
Pretty much just archery hunt.
Okay. All right, so season comes in what, late September?
Yeah, into the first week of October, yeah.
Okay, all right. So, you know, bucks are out of velvet. The majority of them out of velvet, they're in rut. Anytime a buck sheds velvet, he's in rut. Now that shocks a lot of people, and it's crazy. Every week we've been saying it for what, like, guys, 2 years? 2 years, and people will still ask, and they go, what? You know, anytime a buck, and Matt, this is terribly important, but it's very basic. Anytime a buck sheds his velvet anywhere in North America, that sucker is in rut, meaning that biologically he can breed. Now, the problem is there's no does to breed. Sure. All right, now watch this. So when season opens in Pennsylvania, the majority of the bucks are out of velvet. So the majority of them are in rut, meaning they biologically breed. Now that's odd. If he's in rut when season opens in Pennsylvania, and this is directly related to you asking me the best time to start using estrus. Mm-hmm. If he's in rut when season opens, he's out of velvet. That begs the question, doesn't it? Well, dang, if that sucker's in rut the opening day of bow season, well, how long is that sucker in rut?
Yeah.
Well, did you know that he's in rut? Any buck is in rut to all the way to the time he drops his antlers. What's the last legal day you can hunt in the state of Pennsylvania?
I think our last day in our late season is like middle of January.
They still have horns, antlers? Some do, some don't.
I mean, you'll find some deer that have dropped them, depending on how bad our winter is.
Right, exactly.
They still have them.
Right, exactly. Relevant to weather. And you get into some of those Midwestern states and you get a real cold winter, you'll start seeing drops some a little early. But as a general rule, they got them, don't they? Yeah. Which means, guess when the rut is in the state of Pennsylvania? The entire hunting season.
Yeah.
Now, that's a shocker. That means, and if you look that up, you're going to see that that's true. A buck is in rut from the time he sheds velvet to the time he drops his antlers. That's the reason why it is terribly important to understand pre-rut, peak rut, post-rut. It's like climbing a mountain. Bottom of the mountain's pre, top of the mountain's peak. Going down the backside is post. Now, you in Pennsylvania, you really don't get in much of the post-rut. The further you come southeast, you do, because really once peak of the rut happens up there, especially with your how many can you kill now in PA?
We have just one buck and just one doe, but you can get some counties, like I know Allegheny County, they sell 65,000 doe permits, but typically most hunters just get the one buck, one doe license. Right.
So so let's start off. So you open a day of bow season, a buck's in rut. He sheds velvet. The number one scent sold in America, and oddly enough, look at your question. How to use what? Estrus.
Estrus, yeah.
Everybody, Matt, thinks the rut is, they think the rut is centered around a doe being in estrus. That's not the rut. Most people think that's the rut. In other words, I'll give you an example. How many people have you ever heard that takes off from work their vacation during the rut? Right?
Most of my buddies.
Right. And when they take that off? They take that off first, second week in November. You know why? That's the peak of the rut. But they think they're calling it the rut, and they're using estrus. 80% of all scent sold in America sold in a 4-week window. And the large majority of that is estrus. It's only because it's the mindset of the hunter. So now then, let's you and I bring you up to your question. Open day of bow season, what you going to hunt with? You need to be using buck urine. Mm-hmm. Bucks right now today, Matt, on your piece of property in Pennsylvania, all over the country where people are listening, bucks are in bachelor groups. They're running together. Bucks spend 95% of the year more concerned with other bucks than they are with the doe. Guess when he's concerned with her? When she's standing.
Yeah.
The word estrus means an animal will stand and not run. Have you ever seen a buck chase a doe?
Yes.
You ask this tomorrow at work to all the buddies. Say, hey, when you see a buck chasing a doe, that doe's in what? And I guarantee you 9 out of 10 of them is going to tell you estrus.
Yeah.
Or heat. But she's not. She's coming into estrus. The word estrus means an animal will stand. Deer, dog, cat, elephant, giraffe. When that doe comes into full estrus, she will not run, she will stand. The peak of the rut, is just that. It's when the majority of the does are standing on your piece of property. There is a time in which where you hunt, Matt, right now, there's a time in which this fall the majority of the does are going to be standing. You may not see them all standing, but there's a time, that's why they call it the peak of the rut, right? So to answer your question, when you start using estrus scent, in that sense, it's traditional, it's historical. Once you start seeing a buck chasing a doe, I'd start using estrus. You start hunting with buck urine. You use buck urine every day of the year. Literally if you quit work and hunted every day in Pennsylvania, you need to be using buck urine. It's going to start off good and it's going to get better as season goes along. People have heard me say on this show for 2 years, and I've been saying it for 30 years, and I've bottled a lot of deer urine. You put a gun to my head, and I got one chance to kill a buck. You say, Don, come hunt my piece of property. I got one. If you don't kill a buck, I'm gonna shoot you. I'm gonna take buck urine over estrus. And that sounds odd, but I know what buck urine to do. Opening day of bow season, if you took buck urine out tomorrow, if you were to take a bottle of top secrets, never seen oxygen, go out tomorrow and put it out there, any buck's going to come to it. Young buck, old buck. They're not mad. They just want to come see who the new kid is, right?
Sure, yeah. Opening
day of bow season, they're not mad. Just coming to see who the new kid is. Well, hell, you don't care. You just want to shoot him. Do you care why he's coming? You just want to shoot him. Put the same buck urine out during the peak of the rut at a primary scrape. That's like coming home smelling Old Spice knowing you don't wear it. Now he's mad.
Yeah.
See? So you start buck urine every day and then start using estrus. Let's say you're hunting and you haven't seen a doe, or a buck running a doe. About Halloween, I'd put along with my buck, I'd put estrus out there. And then you'll start picking up any stream. You're not going to hurt yourself. But historically, that's when, in your area, that's when you can start seeing bucks chase does. Now, if it's real cold, you get a cool fall, you may see it a little sooner than that. But you're going to start seeing some stragglers at least by that time. Because, you're almost at the beginning of the rut there. Or the peak of the rut. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
No pun intended. Do you use a grunt call or a rattle? Do you rattle?
Sure, both. Yeah.
Do you? You're a first. Matt's a first-time caller. Matt, are you a first-time caller?
Yeah.
Okay. If you use a grunt call, and a lot of people, especially if you do a seminar, you ask them, hey, how many of you use a grunt call? They'll raise their hands. How many of you, now be honest, how many of you grunt like a pig up in the tree and you ain't never seen a dang deer? No buck. And about half of them throw their hands up. The rest of them's lying. Yeah. How successful have you been grunting? Tell the truth now.
To be honest, really you don't know.
Where you are. All right.
Where we're hunting, it's, you don't know if that deer just ran a mile from the guy on the ridge above you and you just happened to grunt.
Right.
It's just, that's how it is around these deer. We live in a town where you're hunting in backyards, so it's really hard to tell. But I would say I'm in that majority of, I grunt and hope that deer came into that call, but you just don't know.
Well, here's the thing. Now think about it. 90 or higher percent of the grunts in America made is a tending grunt. You could go to your favorite sporting goods store, Walmart, Bass Pro, Cabela's, the local sporting goods store. They got grunts all over the place. You buy one of them, different colors, made out of different stuff. The majority of them is called a tending grunt, which means when you grunt, that is the sound that a buck makes when he's tending a doe. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. You get into the tree and you're grunting. You're grunting in hopes that if you grunt, that other buck somewhere out there hears it and thinks there's a buck tending a doe. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's our hope. So here we go. You get up in the tree and you grunted. I'm a buck. I'm somewhere and I hear it. A deer has 3 defenses: ears, eyes, nose. What's the most important of those 3 defenses? Nose. Everybody knows that. All right, here we go. I heard a buck, you grunted, and I'm over there, and I hear it, and I say, wait, whoa, I got somebody tending one of my does. Grunting is an infringement. It's not just a buck's tending a doe, he's tending a doe where? In my area, in my bedroom area. So a buck goes downwind. He'll circle downwind. Now, why does he go downwind? He knows, look, it shocks America, but even people in Alabama, where I'm from, we're taught a little math. The shortest distance between 2 points is what? A straight line. You was hesitating on me there, Pennsylvania. So, in a deer, people don't realize this, especially a buck, tends to be kind of lazy. So you grunt, buck goes downwind. Why? He's going downwind because he wants to smell what he's hearing. You can whip his nose with a grunt call. You can whip his ears with a grunt call. You can whip his ears by rattling. But he's going to go downwind. Why? Because he wants to smell what he thinks he's hearing. Now then, what's the number 1 scent sold in America? Estrus.
Estrus.
That'd be like you coming home tonight after a football game. No, it'd be like, let me do it the other way. It's like me coming home after a football game, and I walk in and I smell Old Spice cologne, and I walk in and I see my wife. I ain't looking for my wife, am I? Who am I?
You're not.
No, that's what my point. So what you just told him audibly as an infringement that there's another buck in his bedroom. He went downwind to confirm it, and his nose overrode his ears and said, I don't smell nothing. Now he's weary. But if you use, now you see why I say you use buck hearing. You grunt or rattle, he goes downwind, he is now confirming his nose is going to confirm his ears. You can whip a deer's eyes with a decoy. You can whip his ears with grunting and rattling. His nose keeps his butt alive. Does that make sense? And,
absolutely, yeah.
And it will win out. It's cute, but it's true. And if you never done this, you ought to do it, and you ought to get your camera and video it, because it does work. We took a buck decoy, kept the horns on that rascal, and then put estrus all over his butt. And this little old basket buck come in there. I mean, he wasn't a shooter, but little basket buck. He come in there, and dude, was he lovesick, but he was confused. I mean, that sucker, you could tell he was badly messed up. Like, this ain't what Papa told him this was about. And so, man, he walked around and he looked at that, stuck his old head out at him and looked, and, he'd back up and he'd smell and he'd walk around her, and he'd walk around the decoy, and he finally come to the front of the decoy, and, he's like, he's talking to it, like, dude, what's up? And he finally walked around the back end of that decoy, and honest to God, we'll have to get this footage. He stopped, and just like he looked over his shoulder, like as if everybody was watching, and he stepped up there on that buck decoy. But what won out? His nose won out.
Sure. Yep.
You grunt, you gotta use buck urine. You grunt, you rattle, you need to be using buck urine. Matt, use buck urine every day of the year. You'll be shocked how good it is. Never stop using it. When they start chasing the does, just use the buck with it. Now, are you familiar with Top Secret?
Absolutely.
All right, the phone.
I started watching your seminars here in the Rut Hotline and everything last year, and the one thing that you had talked about, everybody asks, how do I have one buck that's nocturnal, or
right,
whatever, that's not coming in, what can I do? And like you said before, I'm one of the guys that takes the last week of our archery season off. You typically, right around Veterans Day, that last week. And you had told a gentleman about, even if you can't hunt during the week, to go in, religiously at the same time,
that's
put
right,
buck urine in, And I did that. I had every day that I could go out, and Monday through Friday went out and freshened my scrapes and everything. Well, that Saturday, the last day of the season, we finally had a cold snap, and I could get in the woods. And I saw, this was a spot that I've hunted for 5 years, and I was hard-pressed to see it doe for 5 years. And last year, I did start to use your top secret. I got the bottle of the reserve, all the foam, the buck, everything. And I saw that morning the biggest buck I've seen in Pennsylvania, and was able to actually at 12 o'clock in the afternoon was actually able to kill an 8-point that would just, he refused to leave the scrape that I had kept freshening every day.
Yeah.
So that.
Well,
I use what I've heard, and I wouldn't just because I'm on the phone with you, I wouldn't BS with you. It worked. Everything that you said to a T. I tried to do it religiously, and it paid off. It's not the biggest buck in the world, but I was able to see more deer, that one morning than most of my buddies saw in the entire hunting season last year. Just using some of the tips and some of the ideas and a sense that I believe really works.
Well, look, and I appreciate that. What most hunters do, we overthink it. Whitetail, without a doubt, is the most elusive animal in North America, but he is a very, very habitual animal. And like all animals, they have defenses. If you know the defenses, then you can whip the defenses. And but the key to all, we sell, Top Secret is literally changing the scent industry. Now, having said that, it's not going to work where there's no deer. You cannot trade knowledge of the piece of property. Now then, once you can't shoot him with a gun either if there's no deer there to shoot. But the product gives you that edge, especially if you're to get him in shooting distance or to work like you're saying a nocturnal buck, and you can do it. And you're a prime example of applying what you're hearing, but it's not complicated. I know we're falutin' and we don't use the best grammar, and we're bad on analogies. I know it. I've always been bad on them, but it's a story that works, and it's not complicated. You can kill him, and you can kill some big deer. You'll start seeing deer you didn't even know was on your property by the way that you're using this stuff. Deer communicate with urine 365 days a year. We're sitting here right now, they're smelling urine out there on your piece of property.
Yeah.
And Top Secret is oxygen free. God don't it make sense. Single urine, no oxygen. And the key to it, I don't know if you've used the foam, but I'm telling you, that foam's cast me out. That stuff's good stuff. Because each time you do it, it's the first time it sees oxygen. And, so you can foam here, 15, 20 yards, foam, 15, 20 yards. Each time you foam it, it's fresher than the one before. So it's directional. Now then, you can walk to your piece of property, alternate buck, doe, and you got a buck chasing a doe. Well, isn't that cute? Guess what you grunting saying? A buck's chasing a doe.
Absolutely.
So, listen, man, we appreciate you calling. Any other questions that you might have?
No, I think you covered everything.
Well, look, we appreciate it. Tell your friends about it. Don't be bashful. Guys, shop for Top Secret early. We are throwing some kind of advertising out there. We advertise on Outdoor Channel, the Sportsman's Channel, Pursuit Channel, and Wild TV up in Canada. So we're throwing advertising out there, and we're rarely this time of year, Steve and I together, because we're out there making sure you can get it where you're at. And if you guys, everybody listening, if you got a dealer out there that doesn't have it, tell them to call us. We can make sure we can hook him up direct or put him through a distributor. We can get you some product out there. But, Matt, we appreciate you calling in. Tell your friends about it.
I will.
Man, we appreciate it. Listen, man, I don't know if you know, but you won a bottle of Privilege Estrus. And that'll leave out tomorrow. That's that 3-ounce bottle. And that'll be leaving out tomorrow for you. So we appreciate it. Hey, keep in contact with us. Let us know how that works out for you.
I absolutely will.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for calling in.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, folks. There you are. That's what this show's about. I mean, unsolicited, applying what you're hearing, not complicated. Hey, we're going to the commercial. We'll be right back.
Rise and shine. It's time to hunt.
Repel and kill the bugs that bug you most with the all-natural 100% deep-free BioShield.
You've waited your whole life for this moment. Don't spoil your opportunity because of poor preparation. Keep your optics clean and fog-free for a clear shot every time. Fog Zero.
Introducing Scent Defense, a revolutionary 3-in-1 formula from Top Secret. Infused with antimicrobial silver copper synergy technology to attack odor before it starts. Fortified with NeuroX to attack and repel insects instantly. Scent Defense is specifically formulated to attract deer while simultaneously destroying odor. Scent Defense, the 3-in-1 formula for success.
All righty, there you are, folks. Proof's in the pudding. It is always rewarding to be able to hear somebody confirm what you're saying. And folks, look, we know we're just common folk here. And that's what this show's designed. Look, we got a camera and 2 chairs. I mean, we're high tech right here. Every now and then we'll throw a little cute graphic up there like that, and that's high tech for us. You know, people laugh at us. You know, that big highfalutin show. We sponsor like 115 shows. We know how it's done, but we're not. This is about you talking to people like Matt. And if you listen to what Matt said, what did he say he killed him with, guys? Reserve. You see that 1/10 of 1% club up there, folks? Now's the time. I'm telling you, tick, 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 tick is coming. You want to be able to get a big bottle of reserve right there. Now, folks, now look at me. It's open enrollment. You can get your bottle 2 ways tonight. Hey, those of you that don't know what I'm holding, you can't drink. That's not wine. That's a $100 bottle of deer urine. That's what Matt killed that buck with that he'd been looking for years up there on that piece of property. It's not complicated. That's 26 ounces of estrus. Single urine, no oxygen. Never 2-3-year-old doe, never seen oxygen. Pulled the old boy off of her. You can't say that don't work. What's in there? We pulled him off of her. She was standing. He was mounting. There's only 12,000 bottles of that. Thus the 1/10 of 1% club. Now, folks, look, if you want a bottle of this tonight, you can join the club. And you can join the club by either getting estrus or buck. But now let me tell you about the buck. There's only about 1,100 bottles of that. And it's actually harder to get the buck than it is the estrus. Because think about it, 1-to-10, 1-to-20 ratio. 1 buck to every 15, 20 does. So it's actually, you got less bucks than you got does. Thus, harder to get the urine. Less bucks, less volume. There it is. This is the bucks that we pulled off of those does right there. I'm telling you, this is good stuff. Folks, we blow $100 today for all kind of crazy things. I mean, in a very short period of time, every day you come home, you're gonna grab a 6-pack, you're gonna throw $100 away quick. Get you a bottle of urine. You can get it tonight. You can be part of the 1/10 of 1% club. And listen, here's how you can do it. You'll see the screen come up there. You can join the club either 1 or 2 ways. You can buy it tonight. You can go on there and hit that button and it'll go to the club. You get to participate and stuff. You can get that bottle by buying it tonight. Hey, I want it tonight. You take that credit card and mama knows it or mama don't know it. You buy that card, we're going to send it to you tonight. Or you can buy it tonight on a 4-pay, which means it'll pay for it over the next 4 months. Now then, it's $25 a month. Now, mama may know and mama may not know that papa's getting him a big bottle of deer urine, going to put the meat on the table, not to mention some horns. So mama gets that and you get them out. So join the club, get on it, hit it, tell your friends about it. Now listen, Snooze, you lose. Do the math. 1/10 of 1% club. That's how the name came up. 1/10 of 1 is not enough. Somebody's going to do without. Somebody's going to do without. It could be you. Don't let it be. Join the club tonight. Hey, by the way, remind them, you can join the club if you buy the 4-pay. Either way, actually. But if you buy the 4-pay, you can say, I want it now. And say, but I don't want you to ship it, Don. Matt says, hey, I don't want to ship it to me till October 15th. Though you've paid for it, we're not going to ship it to you to October the 15th ahead of deer season. Okay? So you got a lot of options there. We're the only scent company in the country does this, and there's a reason for it. We're the only ones that's got it. Top Secret is changing the scent industry, and you get to be a part of it. Join the 1/10 of 1% club tonight. Get your bottle tonight. Alrighty, we're gonna go to a quick try to go to some questions and answers. Mark Cross from Pineville, Louisiana. He was gonna try to get his call in last week, didn't make it. So we're gonna answer his question. How does the fact that your products are vacuum sealed keep them from degrading at the same rate as others do? Well, first of all, you ever heard the saying, if you put stupid in, you get stupid out? Well, there's a lot of truth to that. Now, folks, and listen to me. Listen to what I just said. Common sense says, if you put stupid in, you're not going to get better out. You're going to get stupid out, right? Now, you can spin that any way you want to, but you put stupid in, when you open it up, you're going to get stupid out. What goes in everybody else's, you'll see our commercials. It's gonna be neat now, but look for them starting actually the 1st of July. Good educating commercials. When the urine, if it's not Top Secret, it's either a blend of urines or it's already seen oxygen. Meaning that, listen, I started Code Blue. Best products ever hit this industry until Top Secret. All urine is collected with oxygen. Oxygen ammoniates urine. If it's not Top Secret or Code Blue, it is a blend of urines, which means a bunch of deer in it. So it's already, Mark, ammoniated and brown before you put it in the bottle. It's not going to go bad, it's already bad. All right, so here we go. Have you ever canned? It's like putting something bad in there and expecting good results, and then you can it, and then the lid pops up, and you wonder why it didn't seal. Well, urine that is brown is ammoniated. What ammoniates urine is oxygen. The urine in the brown bottles and other product is already bad before it's put in there. Meaning, and when I say bad, it's ammoniated. Listen, this is so simple. And all great things that change things is simple. This is the reason why Top Secret is so stinking strong. It's the reason why it's changing the scent industry. Think about this. Clear yellow urine says a deer's there. Dark urine is ammoniated urine, says a deer was there. So if it's brown, all animals relate to urine. In other words, a buck goes along or a doe goes along and she urinates. Another deer comes along, hour, 2 hours, 2 days later, it tells the other animal how long it's been since they've been there. Why do you think coyotes and dogs just continuously mark? Why don't they just mark it one time? Because if they mark it once, they go along there and it says, hey, there was another guy here 4 years ago. I got a green light tonight. Not so much, because it's freshened. So clear yellow urine means a deer is there. Oxygen-free, clear yellow urine. Top Secret's it's first time it sees oxygen. Look at that. I mean, look at that. How do you argue with it? They can't. Thus reason, folks, 115 shows. Thus 21,000 spots. That's what that's about. Now, if you open it, can you see it, Chris? If you open that and close it, that's what it's going to look like. That is what you're used to. That is what you get. They start theirs already that color. And in there, in that headspace right there, from the top of the urine to the cap, there's oxygen in it. That's why it's brown. If I were to open this one and close it and put oxygen in it, it's going to look like that. That's what happened to this one. It's that simple. Was there, is there. Was there, is there. Hell, that's, excuse me, that's a good commercial. Was there, is there. You are. Look. Brown, clear. And what's crazy about it is all hunters, we know, and listen, go to work tomorrow and ask you guys that you hunt with, hey, what color's the urine when you open up a bottle? They're going to tell you brown. Brown. They know it's brown and it smells strong, like ammonia. Well, you know why? Because it's ammonia, and it says a deer was there. Only Top Secret says the deer's there now. So, big difference, Mark. It's a great question. Now, the vacuum sealed, what happens is if I open that right here, I just open it and close it and going to use it tomorrow, it's going to turn that color. So what we do is we have what's called a scent saver. That's this bad boy. See this? All right, let's go hunting. Mark, let's go hunting. Here we go. We're going to hunt tomorrow. Open that bottle up. First time it sees oxygen, open it up. We're going to pull that plug out right there. Can you see it, Chris? There you are. So let's go hunting. We're going to open it up. We're going to pour it in there. First time it sees oxygen is when you pour that in there. We're going to immediately plug it. We're going to vacuum it out. Set it right there like that. Chris, you got me? Put it up right there. And look, don't turn it this way. Just kind of hold it up in an angle. Pump it out, and you'll pump it, and it'll click. Hear it? Does you know you completely, because it won't hurt it to over pump, because it won't let you, because it'll click. It'll have almost like a metallic type sound. All right, no oxygen, just like you never opened it. This now is just like that, as though you've never opened it. If you don't do this to it after you open it, you're gonna have that. Now you got it in here, and it looks like that. Now then, there's no oxygen in there. Listen, it's got a vacuum seal on it. So, and that's what he's talking about. So here we go. Let's pour it in there. Mark, you're gonna pump it out. Hear it click. All right, we're ready to go hunting. Now we're in the woods. Tomorrow morning we're gonna hunt. Chris, see that little nipple right there? There it is. Now watch this, guys. I'm bringing it back to me with my finger. I'm in the woods, I'm going to reach up there to that little nipple, and I'm going to push or pull it, doesn't matter which way you do it, and it's going to go tsh. Could you hear it in there, guys? Now then, that's to keep you from sounding like Lawrence Welk when you open it. It doesn't have the bang. But if you don't release that, you're going to be in the woods tomorrow morning before daylight, and you're going to have this. Don't want to be Lawrence Welk at daylight. Besides that, it releases, you open it, you use it just like you normally would, clear your urine, never seen oxygen, watch this, boom, you close it, you pull out your little pump, you're standing there fixing to get up in the tree, you pump it out, no oxygen. It's just, you're ready to go hunting. Tomorrow, next week, it's sitting now just like this again. So you can use it all the way down in between using it. This will last you for years. Not complicated. Not complicated, is it? Start without it, maintain it without it. This you're not putting stupid in. That's the best, and you're maintaining it. This is putting stupid in and expecting good results. Though, now let me say this. I'm not saying other products is bad. I'm saying this is phenomenally better. This has been the standard for 30 years, 40 years. There's the new standard. There is no comparison, folks. Look at that. They tell you don't believe your lying eyes. There it is. But the difference is the nose can tell. Hell, excuse me, your nose can tell. You take the top secret challenge, you open up anybody else's scent and smell it in open hours, it will be a marked difference. And you're human. Imagine what that old boy thinks about it. All right, so Mark, good question. All right, got time for some more? All right, Dave Enright from Preston, Minnesota. What has been the most successful call to use during the rut? A tending, an estrus, or a snort wheeze. 3 different situations. The most widely used, Dave, and now, Chris, this is a nuance. Chris don't like me using the word nuance. But the most wide, let me answer the question. All are valid. Different usages based off the circumstances on the ground. Tending grunt is the most widely used anywhere there's whitetail. You don't know if a deer's there, you're grunting. Deer hears it, he'll come in. A lot of time they'll use an estrus bleat if you know the grunt's not working. They'll use it in conjunction with the grunt and saying, "Hey, big boy, here I am. Hey, you know, I'm coming in and I'm ready." A snort wheeze is the least used and the most aggressive sound that a whitetail will make. Some of you out there watching tonight, you will have recognized what I'm about to say happen and may not even realize that's what it was that was happening. But what will happen sometimes if you grunt and you put buck urine out, and especially if you got a dominant or nocturnal buck, that buck may go downwind and just snort wheeze. And what that is, he'll come in so far and then he'll lock up and he'll do a snort wheeze. And what he's telling you is, all right, dude, I ain't playing now. Fixing to kick somebody's butt. Don't make me do it. And it's the most aggressive sound a whitetail will make. It's not widely heard. Not everybody's heard it. Way less have heard it than's heard it. But you want to do a snort wheeze right in the opposite of that. If you got a buck out there and you're in a primary scrape, especially if you got a dominant buck, and when I say dominant, you know if he's nocturnal, and he locks up on you, especially if you hear him, or you get a glimpse of him coming around. You know, in the Midwest you can do that. It's more open. Out in Texas you can do it, and not so much down here in the Southeast. Just think, and you're hunting pastures stuff you can, or hardwoods you might could, but you may get a glimpse of that buck. And he's locked up. In other words, you grunted, rattled, he went downwind, you used the buck urine, he's coming in, he's not sure, he's heard and he smelt, confirmed his ears with his nose. Now he's got to see it with his eyes. And let's say you're not using a decoy. Then in that case, I would use a grunt, a snort wheeze, which means you're telling him, trying to get him that extra little bit to come on in. In other words, now you're challenging him. And if he's the dominant buck and he ain't got worked up that much yet to do it to you, and you do it to him, that's going to piss him off pretty good. And so you got to have the buck urine to get him on in there. That's like walking up to that big old boy standing with his date, and if the last thing you do is you call him a bad name and put your arm around her. It's on, and that's kind of what you're doing with that grunt snort wheeze right there at that end. Most widely used is grunt most anywhere. Estrus, and guys, a lot of this is, and I hate to say this, but it's just true. The snort wheeze, you're going to hear more of that in the Midwest than you are in the Southeast. You will hear it in other parts of the country, but it's just, you're going to hear it more up there. And so in that order, tending, estrus. Let's say 90% of the grunting is tending grunt, estrus, 1% grunt snort wheeze. Used correctly, it can be deadly. Got time for another question? Big Travis Kilroy, Wakefield, New Hampshire. Where's the best place to put a tree stand during the rut? I ain't being cute. Tom said in a tree, preferably facing a trail where you can see a buck. Listen, I'm not being cute, I'm being stinking serious. You can hang a stand the wrong way. That's like going to sit down and watch TV and turn the opposite direction. Makes no sense. And you can do it. And if you don't know, when I was in high school, I got a twin brother. I'm a minute older than him. Well, we decided to join the 4-H club. Well, they said, you want to judge cattle? Sure, Dempsey said. He said, well, we need somebody to judge land, lay of land. I'll go. And believe it or not, we dang almost went to state in 4-H judging land and cattle by proportions. What I'm trying to tell you is that if you don't know the lay of the land sitting in the tree, you don't know the distance to put it if you're bow hunting and grunting. A prime example of this, I was telling somebody this past weekend at a hardware show in Tennessee, Sevierville, Tennessee. When Derek, my son, was 9, 10 years old, Derek's been hunting since, 6, 7, and it was hot. We were hanging tree stands, and we done hung everything. I was on my last one, and I mean, son, doggone, we didn't have BioShield then. Them mosquitoes, they were about to carry us off. And I was hanging a stand, and I knew the trail was coming off of the hill over from me, and Derek and I both, even to this day, we shoot recurves. So you got, we're not like Steve that can shoot that sucker out there 70, 80 yards. Now you think I'm kidding you, that little boy sitting right there, he'll nail your butt out there. Don't you think you won't? Now me, I got to get you up there a little closer. Okay, a lot closer. But I'm going to shoot you, you're going to be just as dead. He's just going to kill you quicker. I'm going to let you walk a little more before I shoot you. But I'm going to shoot you dead too. So, trees right there, right in front of me, say I'm the tree. Well, I'm behind it 20 yards. And I could see the trail coming down. And it went down and went behind the tree, came down and went this way. Well, once I got up in the tree, I'm looking at it. And I'm going, dude, I'd already set it. And I said, Derek says, Dad, let's go. And I said, well, wait a minute, Derek. I said, the deer's going to come behind the tree. And he said, well, Dad, I said, Derek, you can't shoot him there. He's going to walk behind the tree and turn and go that way, and you're not going to be able to shoot him. I need you to go over there and get a treetop. Dad, let's go. Derek, go get that treetop. And the treetop was bigger than Derek. He's dragging his treetop over there, and if this is the tree, he drug it up next to the tree like this. Put it on this side. The trail came down, went that way. Well, when he blocked it here, guess what that deer had to do? Deer's lazy. It was coming downhill, so instead of coming downhill and going back up around that treetop to get on the trail, you know what he did? He came down and just stepped around on this side of me, and I killed that deer out of that stand doing exactly what I told Derek he'd do. He came down and he went around because he's lazy. They didn't want to have to walk back up, so he just stepped around the tree. And now I was in shooting distance. So tree stand placement is understanding topography too. Understanding which way they're traveling and what you've got to do to be able to, the scenario to do. And you can actually manipulate that deer doing that. Listen, a lot of this is just common sense stuff. But if you fool with these old rascals long enough, topography, understand the animal, good product, get him in close enough to shoot, you'll have success. Guys, what is it 8? They're going like this. All right, listen, folks, we will get back to you on these call-in questions here. It's 8 o'clock, folks, an hour flies, and I'm telling you, it flies back fast, and faster than that, it's going to be deer season. We're at that, past that midway fate point where you're starting to get ready to go in the woods, dude. 4th of July, the 5th, it is on. we're going and getting ready to go hunting. That's what this show's about. Tell your friends, call everybody. We'll see you next Thursday night on Hunting the Rut Hotline. Hey folks, you got some questions, we're going to have some answers, and we'll hopefully help you like we did Big Matt there killing that buck up in Pennsylvania. Folks, we'll see you next Thursday night.